All right, welcome to VB Culture Value Science lesson number 5. So this lesson is going to be about the experiential value of peace. So let's dive into the importance of this value and how it impacts our organizational cultures. So again, we're starting with creational values, and we're discussing all the small little things that go into creating experiential values. And we talked about the 6 different experiential values. When we expand this, we see the calming values, which we're wrapping up today, which are trust, harmony, and peace. So the calming pathway is the pathway that leads from relationships. So when you can do this correctly, and going from trust to I can trust you, to I can work with you, to I can work with you and not have stress or cortisol that gets released when we come together, we have peace. That's where we're headed. So we're looking sort of at the final value in this row. And this is a very important one, because you think, well, peace shouldn't be that important, but actually peace is an indicator that you've done the other 2 correctly. So if you are exhibiting the values of peace, then you've come to the point where you've done the first 2 correctly. So it's a very important overall. And then again, we'll be looking at wisdom, nobility, and joy, which is more excitatory, like active, energetic values that we create, experiences that we create for people. And that'll be our next 3 sessions. So now we're going to be focusing on the attribute, the value of peace. And the primary question we have for peace is, do we live together without stress? And the positive was like, do we live together with great feelings of calmness and serenity? So that's what we're looking for. The primary question, do we live together without stress? And so peace has 3 different sub-values that go along with peace. So we'll be exploring serenity, gratitude, and acceptance. And we'll be defining what those 3 are. So let's talk about serenity. That sounds like a very noble word here. But how do we create serenity with others? So it's being safe, at rest, and 0 stress. So like I said, this is the place where I can be with you and I don't foresee stress and I don't have stress with you now. So I trust you that much. We work together that well that when we come together, I can experience serenity and we just have no stress together. And that's the state that we're looking for, that you can get to that point where our relationship actually will cause you peace and serenity and well-being. So that's the level of serenity that we're looking forward to. So the opposite of serenity, no safety, constant threats to your being valued as a person. So your threat to your energies, your threat to life not having purpose and working, and people not caring for you. So that's when you come into a workplace and you've not developed trust and you've not developed harmony, that person's constantly going to be feeling stress. So it's kind of the opposite of serenity. Let's move on to the next sub-trait, gratitude. So if I have trust and harmony, I'm going to be grateful. So I'm going to acknowledge how I've been valued in the past. So that's what gratitude is all about, is how do I acknowledge and sort of think about how I've been valued in the past. So I will say I might even express this to others. So oftentimes we think of gratitude is something that we're expressing to others, but it's also something I'm just thinking about in my mind, like what happened today. So oftentimes one effective technique, according to the Berkeley Center for Good, is to journal about your gratitude, what you're grateful for. And oftentimes that will show you the things that are really important to you by looking over how you felt valued throughout the day and what made you feel valued. So gratitude is a very important state and experience to be able to create in others and to celebrate how we've valued each other. So what's the opposite of gratitude? How do we know that we don't have it? Fearing that you've not been valued, so and will not be valued. So you kind of have this constant state of like, this isn't working, I'm not feeling valued. So it's a ungrateful state because you're not happy the way that you've been treated. So it's a celebration, again, of how you've been treated, which is gratitude. Acceptance. Acceptance is a state in which we get ourselves to this point, being okay with what is now, either good or bad. So this has a component of like this could have some negative emotions in it. If you recall back in our emotional science, this was a big indicator that we've achieved some sort of focus on our emotional state. Now you're thinking, how could we be feeling bad feelings? Well, you could lose things. Opportunities can be lost. Something could go wrong. There's a lot of difficult feelings that we'll experience throughout the day, but if you can get to the point where you're accepting them, that's a point of peace. So you can do that in the context of trust and harmony. It's like, it's going to be okay. This is not a good thing. I can accept that, but it's going to be okay. So that's where acceptance is. And also, we're accepting the good. I like where I'm at. I think things are good. So these are two dynamics that you will have in the realm of acceptance. So let's look at what acceptance isn't: fighting and repressing your emotional world. So again, a bit from our emotional section there, our last module, where you're constantly sort of fighting and trying to repress those feelings or change the feelings and things and the experiences that are having. And a lot of times that's a state that you'll adopt if you don't have the trust and harmony thing going well in your world. So you should have experiences of acceptance if you're experiencing peace. So those are the three sub-factors that make up peace: serenity, gratitude, and acceptance. And that is the value, the experiential value of peace that we hope that you can create within your workplace. So oftentimes what I encourage you to be doing is to have some discussions. Think about different dilemmas that might happen in your workplace. Serenity. Did you cultivate trust and harmony? Did we get to that? Did we get to serenity? Did we not cultivate trust and harmony? How are we not experiencing serenity in our workplace? So that'd be a dilemma. What are the small things that we can do to create that? Gratitude. Specifically name and detail how you valued others. So it would be trying to work on the practice of expressing it to others. So there'd be one small thing that you could do to be able to do that for others. What causes me to try to neglect expressing gratitude? Am I just too busy? Do I think it's not worth it? Do I feel awkward for something about saying this to others or expressing it to myself? So what are some things about that might be causing you to neglect the whole experience of gratitude? What about acceptance? How can you talk about acceptance? Can we gain perspective on our emotional reality? Or are we trying to react and repress things? Like oftentimes companies will have an after-action report. Like, how do we want to deal with this? Do we accept what happens and accept the failures and the negatives along with the positives and the goods that happen? Can we just accept those and learn from them and move on? So those are some dilemmas that you might take into your work meetings and be able to discuss them with your team. So that's how we go from creational values to experiential values, which is our focus during these next lessons.